Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy HB3 in the building. Today I'm coming to y'all and I'm going to be talking to y'all about forks, man. What are forks? What do we do with these forks? How do we really get rid of forks, man? Stay tuned. All right, so before we get started, of course, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to your boy's channel. Really appreciate it. If you need information to get in contact with me as well, my information is going to be down in the description below. But let's go ahead and talk about this that we need to talk about. Let's talk about these forks, shall we? I think one of the most difficult things that we deal with when it comes to being a waver and the journey of getting our hair on point to that flawless look, or just getting our waves just looking immaculate, is basically the forks, man. The forks are the most complicated thing to me. There's so many areas when it comes to being a waver or a person with waves, because everybody don't want to be a waver. Some people just want to stunt. Some people just want to have some waves on top of their head. So, okay, we'll leave them as people with waves. But a waver is really going to be a person who spends the dedicated time in the mirror with the brushes, doing everything they can to get their waves just immaculate all across the board. And the difficult part of that journey is always going to be forks. Forks are just hell when it comes to your hair. But let's start first about what is a forks, because I know I'm gonna have people coming to this channel who are new to waving, who are new to dealing with some of the trouble things that they may have to deal with. So let's talk about forks. What are they right quick? A fork, when it comes to your hair and waves, is basically where your wave pattern is actually crashing. That's basically what it is. The simplest way I can explain that is basically, let's say you cutting grass and you're making those lines that keep going through the grass. And let's say you take the lawnmower and you go a different direction, and it creates a new layer line on top of the line that you already have, causing it to have a little dysfunctional area or line. It's where it's a straight line and then it goes up to another line, or it may go below on another line. The reason why people call them forks is because when you look at it in the pattern, it actually looks like a pitchfork. It looks like a pitchfork missing the middle fork, mixing the middle part of a pitchfork. So you will have a line, and then you will have like a sideways U connected to that line. That is pretty much what a fork is in waving and in your pattern. It's a crash between the pattern. That's all it is. It's just basically where your waves are crashing and they're not uniform together. They're not lined up properly. You can see this easily in someone's pattern. Why is this so important? Well, you want the symmetry to be on point. You want everything to just line up perfectly, and you just have these lines that are all together going around your hair, depending on the pattern that you had and everything that's just going together. You want to have that symmetry. So forks are one of the things that you want to remove from your hair, because with the forks, it doesn't really look right. It is what it is. Now, me personally, I have actually gotten forks. I still have forks to this day. I think I've had many patterns, and I've probably gotten down to maybe 1 to 2 forks, left in a pattern. But I've never been flawless. I've never been a perfect waver. There's always been something in my waves, like one little fork in my waves that always throws that little area off. So not perfect, but I do know ways to break forks and how to get rid of them. And that's what I want to really explain to y'all quickly on what to do. So basically, we got the gist and the definition of a fork and what it is. Then let's talk about ways to get rid of the fork, of course. The first and original way to get rid of fork, and I've learned this from like people that's been waving for over 20 years. The original way to get rid of the fork is to brush the fork out through the hairline. As you consistently are brushing your pattern in, you're brushing and you're brushing and you're brushing, how your hair is supposed to really start moving is that fork will be in that area, and as you're brushing the same pattern over and over in the same area over and over and over, that fork is supposed to move pretty much out to the hairline. Once it moves out to the hairline, it goes away and there's no longer a crash in your waves because you removed it by pushing it out through the hairline. The easiest way to do that is, of course, hard brushing. You have to hard brush your hair because you have to move that hair. A lot of times you're gonna be what they're called woofing. That's a whole nother story. But when you're woofing your hair, you need a harder and firmer brush to move all that hair. Well, you can't move a fork if you have so much hair in your head because it's going to be embedded in your head. So you may want to get a hard brush and just brush it out through the hairline. Simple as that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. 540 wavers and 720 wavers, those patterns are going to be extremely difficult. That's going to be difficult because you're going, in some of your pattern, you're going sideways. So because you're going sideways or you're going at what they call a slant in your waves, with 540 and 720 wavers, you're going to have to force that out going around the direction of your pattern. So what's going to happen is, as you're brushing sideways, your fork may come out through the hairline on the sides. And you would notice that most 540 and 720 wavers, if you ever look at their patterns, most of their forks are on the sides. That means they have been consistently brushing with that pattern, consistently going into the flow of their waves and how they want them to be, how they want them laid out. And as they're doing it, the fork is going sideways out of the hairline. So you'll see most of your 540 and 720 wavers, they'll have a lot of forks on the sides or behind, right there behind the ear. You know, I've seen it usually flow out behind the ear in my patterns. Like it'll be like right here or it'll be like right here, and then it'll just flow out of there. That's pretty much how it goes. If you are a straight 360 waver, it's one of the original, it is the original pattern of wavers. If you are a 360 waver, of course, you're brushing yours out straight. You know, if you're brushing your top down, your fork is going to come out to the hairline. If you're brushing your sides down at angles, they're going to come out of that pattern at the angles on the sides. Simple as that. Here's the kicker though. For all the patterns, if you have what they call a cowlick, it's where your hair grows differently in a particular area than it's supposed to with the rest of your hair. If you have a cowlick and your hair, let's say you have hold on, let me go back. If you have a cowlick on your hairline, this is going to be a challenge. I'm telling you, it is an extreme challenge forcing a fork out to the hairline if you have a cowlick on the hairline. The best way I can say dealing with this is just comb. And that goes into my next topic about how to get rid of forks. Combing actually really helps move forks. A lot of people don't understand how serious this is. If you're combing your hair, you're really pulling all of the hair off the scalp. And when I say pull, you're picking your hair completely up, especially if you're woofing. So you want to really comb as much as possible going into the flow of your pattern. It's going to help speed up the process of moving that fork. That's really simple. Another option that you may have when it comes to moving forks is shower brushing. Shower brushing is really key because what that does is you're in the shower, you're washing your hair, or you have your hair wet. When you brushing your pattern, your hair is at its softest. Your hair is really easy and manageable to move when it's wet. So really, if you're shower brushing or even shower combing, this can actually help speed up the process of moving the fork because you could do just about anything with your hair when it's wet. I've actually took my hair and went against the grain while it was wet and all the hair just moved into that position. you know. But it will help if you shower brush or shower comb with some wet hair, you know, when you're taking a shower and things like that. That actually does help move the fork as well. Finally, I'm going to talk about the most complicated and crucial part of moving a fork. Angles. 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 Yo, real talk. All the other stuff was basic. This is probably critical. This is probably the most critical portion of this video. If you've already left the video because it's too long for you, then you already messed up and you're gonna fail. I'm just saying the other stuff, it definitely will help you, but this is the critical part. I want to save this for last. Definitely make sure you have the right angles. New wavers, this is what I mean by angles. If you're brushing your hair in 360 and you're brushing down on the top, there's no reason why in 2 weeks you're brushing your hair a whole different way and changing your angle up. Because what that does is it confuses the hair. You're confusing your hair by switching up your angles consistently. You're every other week you're doing a different angle with the same area. That's confusing your hair, and that's going to cause more forks. I'm telling you, the biggest reason why a lot of people get forks later on in the journey with their hair is because they're switching their angles up. This is why when I say in my other videos, make sure you determine what you want to do with your hair before you even start waving. When you're scalped and everything like that, or your hair is super low and you ain't got no waves, you need to figure out what you need to do immediately at that moment. Because when you start changing stuff up later on in your journey, when you have a full pattern and then you're trying to move around too much, you're gonna cause a huge angle issue. You're gonna cause a huge fork. You're gonna get more forks than you would have got before if you would have just stayed with the whole original thing. I don't know, man. My bad. That's just my pet peeve. That's one of my pet peeves, is people not being consistent with what they're doing. And they're listening to all these, they listening to too many people. They're seeing too many people that they want to be just like instead of themselves. And they want to do so much other things than what they originally started with, and they're causing issues, crashes, and all type of stuff with their waves, man. It's stupid, man. Oh, I just got mad. Oh man, I can't believe I just went off. But I just see it a lot, especially with, you know, the Facebook wave pages and on Instagram and stuff like that. I just see wavers that I know originally what they wanted to do, and then down the line they saw a big time waver doing something massively better or than them at the moment, not realizing that big time waver started where they started, you know, and stayed consistent and got to where they're at. And then they change everything up, man. The new waver changes everything up after seeing it. But angles are going to be the key. Make sure you're brushing consistently with the same angle in the same area. If you need to switch that up, make sure you do it after a significant time. Make sure you do it after a significant time. Let's say you've been brushing the same angle on your side for a month. You haven't seen any changes. Okay, 2 things you can do: switch the angle or cut down. Simple as that. And what I mean by cut down, if you need to cut your hair down because you're woofing and the fork is so embedded in your hair that you're probably not going to be able to move it the way that you want to move it, cut down. Go down to some lower hair that's closer to the scalp, that's going to be able to reposition the original hair strand and move it. You know, sometimes when we're woofing for long periods of time, right now, we in a pandemic. You know, we in a pandemic right now. No one, the barbershops or anything like that, they're not open. Some people are taking that risk and going ahead and doing self-cuts. Some people, like myself, I don't want to take that risk. I cut down, but I ain't trying to do no lineup. So I'm willing to wait and continue woofing. But at the same time, I know that if I want to really, really move my forks, I have to cut some of this hair down to work with that lower hair. But the angles is really critical. The angles are really key. You want to make sure you're brushing consistently for a long period of time before you switch up that angle. If you don't see no change or whatever like that, then switch it up. But make sure you're doing it for a significant amount of time. Don't switch up every other day. Don't switch up 1 week you're doing it and then the next week you switch it. No, you need to be doing this for like a month. like a good month with the same angle, and then you say, okay, cool, this ain't working. I done all the stuff that HB3 said to do, none of it's working. So let me go ahead and just try a different type of angle in that area. So this video's been longer than I wanted it to be because I kind of went on a rant, but it is what it is, man. Hey, if you watch any of my videos, make sure you definitely comment on those videos. Y'all give me ideas, y'all give me information, y'all give me ammunition to go into a whole nother video. Sorry I haven't been on the videos in a little bit. In my area, I stay in Tennessee, and we had a big tornado that hit my area pretty hard. We was out without power for a while. We was out without internet for a while, so I wasn't really able to get to y'all the way that I wanted to, like I am right now. But I had some time. I had some free time. We cool. We straight. Everything's good. We ain't got no issues. Everything. I'm just happy that we're blessed and that everything's cool. But I needed to get this video out to all of you because we need to work on these forks. I got forks myself, man. I'm working on my 360s, and I got forks that I'm trying to get rid of. I know what I need to do. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut down. I'm just going to cut down like maybe to a 1.5 and really work with that hair to get my forks completely out. That's just how I'm going to run with it. But if you need to get with me, let me know. You need to hit me up on Facebook, hit me up here on YouTube, ask me questions, do whatever you need to do, man. It is what it is. But with that being said, man, it is your boy HB. 3. I'm out of here. Holla at y'all.